Hello family! So you're probably wondering, what's up with this train track and why is Katsu just put in the middle of it? Well, you see, I've been losing a lot of sleep recently, just wondering how I can protect this little guy. See, don't you just hate it when your special belongings get stolen by some little stinker when, you're not looking? Get back here! Well, I wanted to find the most efficient way to protect those special belongings. I browsed the internet time and time again, and I think I finally found the most efficient way to protect your special items and, your belongings. I think it's bound to work, because it's actually been proven before. So, how would you protect your special belongings? Well, that's the same question Sir John A. Macdonald had, the first Canadian Prime Minister, when it came to protecting British Columbia from the Americans. Relatable, I know. You see, on July 1st, 1867, 6 provinces came together to form one country. Now, 2 of those provinces included New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. And they were actually promised a railway to connect them to the more central provinces, Ontario and Quebec. So they'd be a little more connected, Then, in 1870, Manitoba was like, what's poppin' my pimples? And joined Canada as well. And that got the attention of British Columbia, who at the time were a colony. They were probably under a different name, but I don't have it in my notes, so we're just calling them British Columbia. And if you know anything about Canadian geography, British Columbia is like the very, very west coast, or just complete, and it's nowhere near Ontario and Quebec.
That's what I'm trying to say.
At this point, John A. Macdonald was like, okay. And thus, early construction on the railway began, which would later become the Canadian Pacific. But this wasn't a very popular thing to do. Just enough to cause like another election, and just like Mitchell Musso was just kicked off Disney Channel, John A. Macdonald was kicked out of office and re-elected later, because literally the next election he was re-elected. Okay, at this point, he was gone for a while and he couldn't work on the railway. Comes back and he's stressed. Poor John, because the railway had made a little bit of progress, but not nearly enough, and he was way behind schedule. Then in October of 1880, a group of Scottish Canadian businessmen came together and formed a group that would be able to make a viable railway. Construction began in 1881 and finished in 1885. The railway was made near the Canadian and US border, making it easier for Canadian railways to keep out the American railways from stealing business from the Canadians, because the closer the railway is to the border, the harder it is for Americans to steal Canadian business. Not only did this railway help Canada transfer, goods and materials, it also helped open up the country to tourism, recreation, and even immigration, which immigration is very important because that's what kind of Canada was built off of. Though the tourism does strike me as a bit odd, because there wasn't much in Canada at this point. It was still very early in its whole development. So you got some nature, you got some, small towns and residential schools, which I don't think anyone wanted to see.
Oh my gosh, that was an awful part of history.
To this day, you can still ride the Canadian Pacific, and it's been praised as one of Canada's biggest technological advancements, and it helped develop the country into what it is today. So if there's anything to take away from this video, build a little train track or railway around your special belongings, and I guarantee that they can't be stolen. Wait, the railway didn't protect Katsu. Oh no.